Good morning, everyone. I hope you are doing well. Today, Team Finance 10 are here to present you the executive briefing for the reassessment of Oui platform. On behalf of the entire team, I would like to thank you for granting us the opportunity to perform this engagement. Allow me to introduce our diligent team members. First, we have Saleh, our project manager, Hamza, offensive security lead, Yusuf, offensive security consultant, and Ziad, offensive security engineer, also Basil, technical security consultant, and finally Dina, our GRC consultant. Now, let's take a look at the agenda for today. First, we are going to go through the methodology that Team Finance 10 used. Then, we will have a look at the engagement highlights and see some statistics. After that, we will see the business impact on Oui platform. Then, we will see the key strengths that Oui platform have. And in the end, the recommendation that Team Finance 10 have for Oui platform. And in the end, we are going to take your questions, so feel free to ask us.
Let's start with the objectives of this reassessment. Finance 10, first of all, starts with the general security, in which we ensure the adherence to the best practices in cybersecurity. After that, we check for the integrity of the platform and its business operations. As for the mitigation, we ensure the remediation of the previously found vulnerabilities from the first assessment. And finally, for the business impact, we check the potential consequences of these vulnerabilities on the business operations. Now let's talk about the methodology and the process Finance 10 used to assess Wi's security posture. First of all, we have the severity, in which we see how much this vulnerability impacts the infrastructure. Next is the degree of exposure, in which we check how widespread the vulnerability is on the environment. After that, we have the ease of exploitation, which assesses how easy it is for an attacker to exploit these vulnerabilities. As for the business impact, we check how these vulnerabilities impact the business operations. And finally, efforts to fix, which assesses how much time, money, and effort it would take to mitigate these vulnerabilities. As for the scope of this reassessment, Finance 10 had two environments, the production environment and the development environment. And this extensive scope ensures the detailed examination of Wi's security posture.
Moving on to the engagement highlights, Finance 10 have assessed Wi's security posture to be critical, in which the team managed to uncover 28 vulnerabilities. Now, in terms of the category of threat actors, Finance 10 identified that the majority of the vulnerabilities that were found could be exploited by Tier 2 attackers, which are considered to be criminal actors as well as insider threats due to the sensitivity of the data. On a positive note, Finance 10 noted that Wi's development team managed to remediate an impressive 41% of the vulnerabilities that were found from the first phase of the engagement. However, the team managed to compromise 6 hosts, potentially putting the data of over 1,000 customers at risk. Now, let's talk about the uncovered vulnerabilities. The vulnerability severity ranges from critical, which indicates the highest impact on business operations, to low, indicating little to no impact on the business operations. Finance 10 managed to identify 6 critical vulnerabilities, 7 high vulnerabilities, 9 medium, as well as 5 low.
Finance 10 have used a custom framework for measuring impact, likelihood, and overall severity of technical findings, together with a common vulnerability scoring system to gain full coverage for both technical and business risk. The final assessment conducted by Finance 10 has identified significant progress in addressing previously reported vulnerabilities. 41% of total vulnerabilities from the first engagement were successfully remediated. 14% of total vulnerabilities were partially remediated. The following remediation results were discovered. 3 out of 4 critical vulnerabilities were successfully remediated. 2 out of 5 high, 3 out of 11 medium, and 1 out of 3 low vulnerabilities were successfully remediated. After reviewing Wi's environment, it's clear that many security measures are already in place. However, identified risks could potentially lead to loss of customer trust, which will lead to the company losing customers, as well as negative reviews and feedback on public platforms, resulting to reputational damage and challenges in acquiring new customers, as well as difficulties in forming partnerships and collaborations with other organizations. Finally is financial loss, which will occur due to non-adherence to security standards, as well as many vulnerabilities and potential cyber attacks, will lead to loss of business revenue due to downtime or disruptions.
Finance 10 understands that the mentioned vulnerabilities can be concerning for you. However, it is important to recognize areas of strength found in your environment. Starting with logging and monitoring, Oui Croissant's investment and implementation for effective logging and monitoring tools has shown effect in detecting malicious software and activities within WISE network, which is a crucial part during incident response. Moving on to security policies, Oui Croissant's employees adhere to secure practices, such as using strong passwords. In addition, the presence of a lockout policy within WISE network adds an extra layer of defense against unauthorized access attempts. Finally, data integrity. When examining WI platform, an impressive presence of secure data storage and integrity was observed, reflecting on Oui Croissant's dedication to developing secure and robust websites. These strengths are clear indicators of Oui Croissant's commitment to security and resilience. Building up on these foundations will further enhance the platform security while addressing the identified gaps.
It's also crucial to mention areas of improvement within the network, starting with platform security. Finance 10 assessed the overall security posture of WI platform and found it to be critical. Finance 10 was able to find multiple critical vulnerabilities within the environment, potentially risking the data's confidentiality and integrity. So it's crucial to make sure that web security best practices are implemented and in place. Furthermore, implementing a web application firewall ensures a defense in depth and greatly increases the security of web applications. Next, we have artificial intelligence. Finance 10 assessed the artificial intelligence model security of WI platform and found it to be vulnerable. Finance 10 was able to extract sensitive data such as passwords from the AI model, so it's crucial to make sure that the AI model is trained on a larger data set to increase the security and accuracy of the model. Furthermore, restricting the model from accessing sensitive data such as passwords, API keys, and other critical information. Finally, we have network segmentation. This means that the networks were not isolated. If an attack were to happen, a potential attacker would be able to compromise the whole network as opposed to one part of the network. So it's crucial to make sure that we do implement network segmentation depending on the business needs. Finally, following all of these recommendations ensures a better security posture for the company.
In conclusion, while challenges were identified, Team Finance 10 believes this is an excellent opportunity, turning these findings into strengths. And finally, implementing these recommendations will not only minimize the risk on WI platform, but it will also maintain your customer trust and ensure your business stays strong. And in the end, if you have any questions, Team Finance 10 are here to support you at every step.
Excellent. I appreciate the presentation. So you really got my attention with the discussion earlier about some issues that could, potentially affect, I think, 1,000 clients or something like you said. So what was that specifically, and which of those recommendations ties to what I, as a business executive, I'm very worried of what my team is doing here if we've got 1,000 customers potentially exposed?
Okay, so the vulnerability, there's a specific vulnerability that we found on the web security application in which the team managed to actually find that there were over 1,000 customers' data, such as emails, passwords, not passwords to be specific, but emails and first names and last names, which could be also modified as well. So compromising these endpoints could actually potentially put the data at risk.
Okay.
I'd like to also add to what my colleague said. As for the recommendations part, we recommended installing a web application firewall, which ensures and mitigating most of web security issues and helping them.
Okay, so that one would help me on that one. All right, I need to talk to my team after this because I'm wondering why I didn't hear about this until the report came out. Also, my team is telling me that we should adopt a zero trust model here. So would you agree with that based on what we saw?
All right, so a zero trust model is a model where you don't trust, where you have zero trust as it says. So basically what this means is, for example, in your web applications, you already have implemented a TOTP, which is a passwordless authentication, which ensures a defense in depth in all of your applications. So that's definitely great.
Okay, so you would recommend we
Definitely.
adopt that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, I also have been reading about, I appreciate